My mother hid a secret behind her mirror for 22 years. I found it after she died. I got this story from an old buddy of mine the other day, and damn, it stuck with me. He said it came from someone he knows, and I figured I'd pass it on the way it hit me. Like I'm just sitting here telling you what happened. No fancy stuff, just the truth as it unfolded for this guy. His name's Marcus, and it all started when he had to clean out his mother's place after she died. He never imagined that one ordinary afternoon would blow up everything he thought he knew about his life. His mom, Delia Voss, passed on a cold Tuesday back in February. Pancreatic cancer, the fast kind that doesn't give you time to catch your breath. 11 weeks from diagnosis to the funeral. Marcus sat in that hospital hallway the last night, staring at a flickering vending machine light, waiting for her to say one more thing like she always did. But she just squeezed his hand twice and slipped away quiet. No big goodbye. No secrets spilled. She was Delia Voss, and she carried her truths right to the end, or so Marcus believed. Marcus is 34, teaches history at the high school in Cartwell, Georgia, drives a beat-up Subaru, has 2 dogs that keep him company, never got married though he came close once. Regular guy, you know? The kind who figured his mom was solid, that he knew his roots. Turns out he didn't have a clue. About 3 weeks after the funeral, his Aunt Rosalind called to say somebody had to empty out the bungalow on Clover Street before the lease ran out. Delia had lived there 22 years. Same cream walls, same old green bathroom tiles, that heavy vanity mirror in the bedroom that had hung so long it left a ghost shadow on the paint. Marcus drove down one Saturday in March. Dogwoods just starting to bloom, which felt almost mean given the mood. He let himself in with the spare key under that ceramic frog by the steps. The house still smelled like lavender softener mixed with that faint old paper and wood scent. Aunt Rosalind bailed because of her back, and honestly, Marcus was glad to be alone with it. He started in the kitchen, then the living room, boxes for donation, trash bags, a few keepsakes. Found those old photo albums his mom used to pull out every Christmas. He sat on her couch for nearly 40 minutes flipping through them. There was one of them at 6, perched on his dad's shoulders at the county fair. Robert, the man he called Dad, had walked out when Marcus was 8. Mom never said much about him except that he was weak and made weak choices. Marcus always took her word for it. Around noon, he tackled the bedroom. The closet was a time capsule. Coats, hats, shoes worn maybe twice. He found a shoebox stuffed with old birthday cards he'd made her as a kid, crayon drawings, and bad spelling. Sat on the edge of the bed with them and cried hard for the first time since she passed. Then came the vanity. That big old oak mirror, full length, bolted solid to the wall. He unscrewed the brackets with a screwdriver from her junk drawer, eased it forward. Behind it, a cleaner rectangle of paint, and tucked right in the corner against the baseboard, almost invisible, an envelope. Cream-colored, same as the wall, pressed flat like someone meant for it to stay hidden until the mirror came down. He picked it up. Sealed. His mom's careful cursive on the front, but no name, just one line. For when the time is right. His hand stayed steady picking it up. They weren't steady opening it. 2 pages inside, on her usual stationery. Dated 11 years back. He read it right there, back against the wall, mirror leaning nearby. I'm not going to quote every word. Some of it's too raw, still cuts deep. But here's the heart of it. His mom wrote that Robert Voss wasn't his real father. Back in the summer before Marcus was born, she'd had an affair with Gerald Hatch, her own brother-in-law, married to her sister Patricia. Aunt Pat, the one who'd sat 3 rows back at the funeral, crying loud into a handkerchief. She said she'd ended it before she even knew she was pregnant. Never told Gerald. Let Robert think Marcus was his because it seemed safer, kept the family together. Robert left anyway when Marcus was 8, for his own reasons, drinking, restlessness, all that. She carried the secret more than 30 years. The guilt never eased. She'd started the letter because she felt her health slipping even before the cancer showed up. Some part of her already sensed the end coming. She apologized 4 times on those pages. I am sorry, Marcus. I am so sorry. Sorry for what it would do to him, to everyone. Then came the part that hit like ice water. Gerald knew. He'd known for 6 years. Patricia had found out somehow. Mom swore she never told her, and confronted her in 2017. Mom begged her to keep quiet, and Patricia agreed. But Gerald? Mom didn't know what he might do. He has money, Marcus. He has always had money, and he has always used it to get what he wants. I need you to be careful. Whatever comes after me might be complicated in ways I cannot predict. Marcus stood there in that empty bedroom, rereading that line. What exactly had she been scared of? He folded the letter into his jacket pocket, hands shaking now. He didn't handle it smooth. Sat in his car in the driveway for 45 minutes, then called his buddy Danny from college. Danny came over that night, read the letter twice like the careful accountant he is, and said, "Marcus, Gerald Hatch. I know the name. Real estate guy, big projects around the county." Suddenly, this wasn't just a name in a letter. Marcus remembered vague family dinners, Gerald tall and put together, always taking up extra space, Patricia quiet and smaller beside him. Danny asked what Mom meant by "be careful." Marcus didn't know, but the fear in her words lingered. He called Patricia the next Sunday, voice even, said he'd found something cleaning out the house, and they should talk. The pause on her end said she already guessed. She invited him for lunch Wednesday. Their place was nice, a big Craftsman on the north side, stone drive, perfect lawn. Patricia hugged him stiff at the door. Gerald was waiting in the living room, still imposing even in his late 60s. The whole thing felt rehearsed. Marcus set the letter on the coffee table. Nobody reached for it. Gerald started talking about legal considerations, estates, his son Theodore, implications. Before even acknowledging the blood, before asking about Marcus's life. Mention attorneys. That was the shift. Marcus hadn't come for money, but the way Gerald managed it all, containing everything, it lit something cold in him. He left wanting the truth dragged into the light, not hidden anymore. After that, Marcus got a DNA kit, talked to a straight-shooting family lawyer named Sharon Gaines. She told him truth didn't always need a courtroom. He reached out to Theodore on LinkedIn, careful message about possible relation in the letter. 9 long days of waiting, teaching class, walking the dogs, not sleeping much, wondering why Mom hid it specifically behind that mirror. It wasn't random. She wanted him to find it only when clearing her things after she was gone. She couldn't face his reaction in person. That stung deeper than he expected. On the 10th day, Theodore replied, "I know who you are. Meet me away from my father." They met at a diner halfway to Macon. Theodore was bigger in real life, broad, tired eyes. The handshake felt surreal. Over coffee, he spilled what he knew. Patricia's confrontation, Gerald hiring a PI quietly years ago, a secret file Theodore stumbled on in his dad's study. Gerald had sat on it 6 years, managing the information like always. Theodore was tired of the walls and secrets. They did the official DNA test together. For weeks later, 99.97% half-siblings. Theodore called first. Long silence, then a simple, "Well, okay then." Marcus wrote Gerald a letter. Not legal, just honest. Said he knew, had the results, didn't want money or drama, but he wouldn't disappear or let the pretending continue. Mailed it. Patricia called crying a few days later, quieter and real this time. Admitted the silence had eaten at her marriage for years. Marcus listened, called her Aunt Pat at the end for the first time since the letter. Gerald reached out next. They met at a park, neutral ground. He looked older, dropped the Management Act. Admitted fear and self-interest drove him. Didn't know how to be a father now. Marcus said he didn't need one. He'd had one already, and that hadn't worked out great either. But pretending wasn't an option anymore. That was 7 months back. Now Theodore and Marcus have had dinner a few times. Not instant brothers, but something real is building. Slow talks about work, the area, the things their parents buried. Gerald and Patricia are still together. Marcus doesn't weigh in on that. Gerald even donated to the school's literacy program. Could be guilt, but who knows? Marcus went back to the empty house one last time before the lease ended. Stood in the bedroom, staring at that blank spot where the mirror hung. The place would forget them soon enough. New paint, new life. But he thought about his mom, 22 years there, carrying that weight, leaving the letter where he'd find it eventually. Not cowardice, just human. Some truths are too heavy to hand over face-to-face. He's not mad at her anymore. Working through the rest. The mirror came down, the letter was waiting, and he's still here, teaching history, driving that Subaru, walking the dogs under blooming dogwoods. Life looks the same on the surface. But he knows now he came from something messier than the story he grew up with. Two people made a choice long ago, and that choice made him. Patricia wrestled with silence versus loyalty. Gerald let fear run things for decades, and you could see the cost in his eyes. Most of all, Marcus knows his mom loved him, fiercely flawed, in ways he's still figuring out. She left that letter so the truth wouldn't die with her. He found it, read it, and now he knows where he comes from. That ain't nothing. Hell, that's everything.